Hey, welcome to PHOENIXIETY. That's the second episode for today. I'm not sure I'm gonna post it today on YouTube or I'm gonna leave it for tomorrow for the algorithm to pick it up. Today's episode is gonna be really short. I wanna dedicate to my micro generation. It's between generations, intergenerational people. Xennials were born between Generation X and Millennials. We are neither. Not them. We're in between. And we are really small, narrowed, like a narrowed timeline generation. We were like my generation, Xennials, were born between 1977 to 1983. Yeah, just 5 years. The thing is, the internet was on rise back then, like let's say first baby steps, right? Xennials, us, are the bridge survivors between analog and digital, east and west collapse and innovation, right? I'm from USSR, so it's a collapse. Innovation, where we were entering into the digital era. So we were lucky enough to grow up without internet. We could do the robot without someone just make us famous online, pictures, videos. We could do anything we wanted. We wasn't worried about what was happening. We could actually freely run outside, and we was scared to go home because once we getting just to drink a water in the house, our parents would lock us in. So no way. I remember how I was looking like our friends, some of our friends was getting in the house just to drink water, and we was all yelling, bring some water to me as well, because I don't want to go home, they'll lock me in. Right now you cannot actually drag kids out, and we don't want to do that because it's really unstable out there. So let's get back to the topic. Xennials, those from the USSR who immigrated to Canada, just like I am. I didn't immigrate in USSR, I was born in USSR, right? We lived through two perestroikas, if you guys know what's that. For those who doesn't, when Soviet Union, USSR collapsed, and now another reformation, that's what it is basically, is AI-driven driving Western. We are transsystemic humans. Can you imagine transsystemic humans? I'm proud of our generation. We're adaptive, we're skeptical, and we're tired, but still standing. We're not old, we're not young, we're always somewhere in between. Okay, difficulties of our generation, difficulties of Xennials. Identity drift. We never fully belong to either world or generation. Generation X kick us. Millennials, they basically say we belong to Generation X, which we aren't, right? And especially that was a hurtful point for those who immigrate, because on top of that, there's a cherry on the pie. We had to adapt to the new countries, new languages, new psychological barriers to pass through. Don't ask. Other difficulty is a survival fatigue. Constant adaptation leads to emotional burnouts. People from USSR, we kind of were trained, I didn't even realize that, but we were trained to survive, to run on fumes, not on gas. And as soon as we were finishing whatever we was doing, coming home, we was collapsing. And then, in the morning, new day. Start all over again. Economic displacement, next difficulty. Experience and intellect undervalued in Western job market. No comments here. No comments. Especially on those, in this job market that we have now. What's going on? I hear on the news all the time complaints, and I agree with them, that youths, they doesn't have jobs to start with. What you can say about the Xennials that were immigrants, even like I live half of my life in Canada, I'm still adapting, and I always will. Okay. Next difficulty what I want to talk about is cultural invisibility. Just try to think through a little deeper. Cultural invisibility. Neither immigrant struggle nor native privilege. It doesn't fit to our stories, neither of those. Also, trust deficit. We're skeptical, and deep skepticism towards institutions, media, and authorities. We were born from betrayal, so that's in our blood. Now let's turn the page and briefly talk about skills of Xennials. Crisis adaptation. Can pivot, rebuild, and improvise very fast. Like a flash. Yes, reaction and critical thinking is since we was born. That's what they train us now at college, at universities. I'm at college. If you was watching my previous videos, social service work, that's the program I'm studying. They are pushing on the critical thinking. And that's exactly the skills that USSR people was trained to deal with on a daily basis. I mean, with the situations dealing. Next, cross-system thinking. Yeah, and not just cross-system thinking, cross-countries thinking, cross-languages thinking. It's like, just an example. I speak in English, yeah, accent, all of it, blah, blah, blah. But I speak in English, I think in English. I speak in Russian, I think in Russian. I speak in some other language that I know, I think in that language. It's automatically like you change the program, right? We understand both authoritarian and demographic structures. It does helps, big time. And I think that would really, this skill will be really useful at the field placement and then at the job site as a social service worker to understand the future clients better. Doesn't matter where they're coming from. Next skill is psychological resilience. Endured social collapse without losing intellect or humor. Through the video, you like watching my video, you already most likely get that vibe of me. Yeah. Multilingual and culturally fluid. Navigate people and power across context. Yeah, we deal with what we have. Simple as this. On the complex situations. Critical realism. Grounded judgment. See hype and fear for what they are. We call the things for what they are. And many people doesn't like us for that. Some of us Xennials less, some of us more. With my characteristics, with my who I am, I do that like 95 to 100%, and people doesn't like that. So just being honest, it doesn't make you friend of everyone, right? European Xennials in Canada today. Financial reality check. Many feel trapped between inflation, underemployment, and rising costs. Just what I was talking previously about how on all the news they say that youth doesn't have a chance. Well, we don't have a chance as well, but we have to do it. And with our critical thinking and with our survival skills, I think we'll be just fine somehow. We'll do it. Adaptive minimalism. We're living smaller, smarter, less consumption, more self-resilience. Not all the time, but the thing is now with this economical situation in Canada, when there is job market failure, when there is inflation, prices even for grocery prices are like skyrocketing. I'm really thankful to my grandma that she taught me how to bake, how to cook, how to stretch the budget, how to improvise. She long gone, my grandma Zoya, she was my angel. She passed through the World War II, and she really taught me how to create something out of almost nothing. Community reformation, quietly forming new support web offline and trust-based. Yeah, most of us, big majority of us, we do that. But me, particularly me as example, I was burned badly, I was crushed, I was betrayed many times, and I just lost trust for humanity. So presumption of innocence is something that I do not implement into my critical judgment for the preliminary opinion. Basically, in a simple word, I look at the person when I just meet the person and long after, and I don't let the person take my empathy for granted. Even more simplified, person have to really work hard to make sure that I trust the person just a little bit, at least a little bit. Mental shift. Viewing Canada not as promised land anymore, but as another system in decline. Sadly, I see it true that a little better than many people who surround me. Why? Because I've seen USSR collapse and I'm looking at Canada now. Similar steps, but with the capitalistic accent. Sadly, because I immigrated to Canada half of my life ago for the future of my kids. And what I see now, this is not criteria how I was choosing Canada. So we revert to survival intelligence and not nostalgia. Well, it is what it is. Few words about betrayal. All my betrayal experiences starting from not just like my ex-husband. Help me God to find a nice word for something what I feel, which is really not nice about this not man, whatever. Not even my half brother, whom I was providing roof, food for almost all his life, and got betrayed after that. No, betrayal started from collapse of USSR. Just imagine for a second. Just imagine. You study all your life from the daycares, like elementary school, high school. You are ready to live the life they taught you how to live. They taught you how the system works, and you are totally ready, right? They was marking you. Somehow you get through. You finish high school. You are preparing to go to the college or whatever. USSR collapsing. Perestroika starting. Everything what they taught you doesn't work. System is broken. What you do? How you do? People got mad. Corruption was on the rise. Anything what they was teaching you, like empathy, helping others, basically stand up and let someone else to see it because that's how it should be, right? Like collectivism, right? It's turned it into the individualism and a heartbeat. And the high schoolers wasn't ready. So that was the first betrayal. And from, well, small little betrayals, I'm not going to get into the personal ones through the high school and stuff, what I passed through. That's another story. I mean the global, right? And after that, all of the rest of it, it's like you learn how to cope with the things. That's what I can say. Well, this is basically it, what I want to say about the Xennials. We swim through the mud and we glow in the dark. We heal our bruises and emphasize what we cannot hide in the most positive, beautiful way as much as we can, with a smile and a hint of humor. That's the way to survive. That's the way not to get deeper into depression. That is actually a movement now through people. And it's important to know how to, not just to make some money, but not to spend the money. Little hack. I don't cook. I don't buy bread. Loaf of bread is like $4 or $5, right? I buy a bag of 10 kilograms of flour and I bake bread. And that's how I pull it through one of the hacks, right? See my another channel, life hacks, PHOENIXIETY life hacks. If you want to see, sometimes I have motivational mood and I share. And that's how I basically cope with the difficulties, life difficulties and obstacles. As a Xennial, very, very small, narrow generation, intergenerational, transsystemic person. Who else is from my generation? Comment down below how you cope with the system. And if you are not Xennial, also, I would be glad to see some comments down below and hear about how you cope with the situations that are everywhere now happening, difficulties and stuff. Thanks for being with me. Share, like, subscribe. PHOENIXIETY is with you. I'll be back and I'll catch you next time.